Regular session meeting to order. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic. Present. Johnson.
Present.
Pearson. Lynn.
Present.
Bowman. Baker. Lynch. Here. Escaday. Thibodeau.
Here.
Fox. Smith.
Here.
Epperson.
Here.
Mr. President.
Okay. I'd like to ask Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Dominique to lead us in the pledge, please.
And bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over our alliances over in Japan and watch and help them through this troubled times that they're going through. Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over our parish, the people of our parish, that they would be beneficial of your grace and your mercy. These things we ask in your Son, Jesus' name.
Amen. Everybody face the flag and repeat after me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Ask that you would please silence your cell phones and other communication devices. If there's anyone that would like to address this body on any item that's not on the agenda today for a public hearing, I'd ask that you fill out a card that's located in the foyer and present it to myself or the commission clerk, and you'll be recognized to state your concerns. Are there any agenda additions? We have Commissioner Lynn, Commissioner Escaday. Commissioner Lynn.
I'd like to move to expand the agenda to allow Woody Wilson, the administrator, to appoint Mr. Clay Walker for the head of Juvenile Services.
Second. It's been moved by Commissioner Lynn that the administrator be allowed to that we be allowed to expand the agenda to have the administrator introduce our new juvenile detention director. It's seconded by Mr. Thibodeau. It must be a unanimous vote. Under discussion, we have Ms. Lynch.
I wanted to ask, because I just heard about this yesterday, and I wanted to have an opportunity. When I first came to the commission, I was, I guess, relegated to the Juvenile Justice Committee at that time, and chaired that committee for a couple of years, and worked with juvenile justice at the national level with through NACO. And I would just like to have an opportunity to meet with Mr. Clay and talk with him so that I'm comfortable with my vote on this recommendation, and that I can be able to be comfortable with it. So if questions come from my constituents, I can answer those questions. I know what direction our juvenile department is going, and that I have some degree of knowledge and comfortability with that before we vote. So I would just ask if we could put this on our agenda for our next meeting to vote on it, to allow me an opportunity to do that.
Any other discussion? Mr. Lynn and Mr. Pearson.
I would like for us to approve this today, and then, if possible, that you could set up an appointment to meet with Mr. Walker or all of us. I encourage all the commissioners to visit with him and meet with him. This is opening up simply to allow Mr. Wilson to appoint whoever he wants. That's all.
Ms. Pearson?
Yes, I agree with Commissioner Lynn. I think we should vote on and accept the appointment. It is the CEO's authority to appoint someone under his jurisdiction. And so I think, we would all like to meet with him at some point and talk with him about the direction that we want to see, or that he wants to see, that the Juvenile Services Department go. But in the long run, if people have questions about it, I think Mr. Wilson will be the one to answer those questions, and then we can move forward from there. But I would rather vote on to approve this appointment today.
Mr. Dominique?
I think that, I'm just making a point of order, and I've asked Ms. Frazier that this is not on the agenda, so motion to expand was proper and the second was made, that's what we're voting on. We're actually discussing this matter and hasn't been put on our agenda pursuant to the way the new law is reading, put matters on the agenda is requires 100%. And we're actually discussing this and it hasn't been on the agenda yet. So I think we need, the motion was made and second and voted. If it's voted no, then, you know, we can put it on the agenda next time. But,
Okay, I'd just like to take a point of personal privilege. This law we know was brought to us at some time during last year. I think I directed Mr. Cox to go with our bylaws committee because I knew we were going to get to a situation where we have written rules as to the procedures we go by. So we had a proper motion, we had a second, and basically under Robert's Rules of Order, there is debate for certain motions where you can, motion and second where there is no debate. And this isn't one that's not in our bylaws. So if no one else has any comments relative to this, we'll vote to add this to the agenda, and it must be unanimous. Okay, that fails. Next we have Mr. Escudé.
I had the same motion that Mr. Lynn did. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next order, please, Mr. Clerk.
Comments at this time?
Okay, let's see. I don't see any cards.
I have none.
Okay. Next order.
Next we'll move to visitors. We have Mr. Willie Washington representing the Clean Water Committee of Belcher-Dixon.
Mr. Washington, come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you may proceed, sir. And if you could, maybe limit your comments to about 3 minutes. I understood that. I think that you all sort of had a meeting with Mr. Wilson relative to your issue.
Yes,
We're
sir.
certainly glad to have you come down and all your concerns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very proud to be here today to express our views and our differences. I was here back in October, and I requested assistance from this committee, from this commission, to help us and aid us in trying to get clean water for our citizens in North Caddo Parish, up near Belcher. We have approximately 73 residents who are in bad need of clean water in their homes. We have made some progress. We had a meeting, after we had the meeting in October, Mr. Dominic, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Lucky, and Mr. Charles Grubbs came down and we have a little meeting and we seem to have come to some kind of conclusion that we could kind of get this thing kind of solved and get it on the way. We then requested assistance from the parish engineer, Mr. Ken Ward. Right. What's your name? Jimmy Hayden. Mr. Hayden came down and did the parish engineer work for us and gave us a cost estimate which we were badly needed. I think we're on the right road now, and Mr. Hayden is going to get up and explain some things to you all where we are at this time and what our plan of action is. Thank you.
That's your PowerPoint, the presentation. Would someone help him with that, please? Todd, you got it? Do you know it? While he's doing that, state your name and address.
Thank you. I'm Jim Hagan with Baylor Engineers, 631 Milam Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I was asked by Mr. Washington to assist him on this project, and he did a pretty good job of telling you all what it was about, but kind of clarify a few more items. The area that Mr. Washington is talking about is basically in kind of a no man's land up in the northern part of the parish where the interstate is currently getting constructed. And it's bordered on one side by the Belvedere water system, on the east, on the north by the Austin water system, on the west by Vivian and Oil City water systems, on the south by Morrisport and Blanchard. So there are 70, depending on how you count and what distance you run on the road, there's between 70 and 90 houses in that area that do not have any public water system. No one has made an attempt to go out and serve this area because the cost to do it is so high per customer that it hadn't been economically feasible for anybody in that area. So you can see looking right at it, right in the middle right there. It's kind of out in the middle, and you can see the interstate getting built. These will not be very clear, but I've got copies of them if y'all would like. What we've done is take that larger area and find the two most populated areas and ran a cost estimate to serve not only the area Mr. Washington's talking about, but the area generally up by Herndon Magnet School. And so came up with two different alternatives. One alternative serves the most populated area. That was about 73 customers and was about $750,000. And then we added on a couple of the more populated areas down Belcher, Oil City Road, and Gam Road. Got up to about 91 customers. 91 customers, $957,000. So it's probably about $10,000 a customer any way you look at it. That's fairly high for the cost of installing water lines, and once again, that's why nobody's rushed out into that area to serve them. Because if they added those people onto their system, they'd have to charge their existing customers more money based on extending into those areas. So basically, we were tasked with providing the cost estimate and then beginning to see how we could secure some funding for this. And that's pretty much where we are right now. And I would entertain any questions.
All right, I don't see any. I'm sorry. Okay, Dominique, anyone else?
I really don't have any questions. I just kind of want to give y'all an update. Mr. Washington and I had met, and he just wanted to kind of give us an update to keep the ball moving. It's my understanding that Mr. Wilson and Jimmy had met, and we're trying to look at getting some money from our state representative in that area to get this done. So, Mr. Wilson, if I'm correct, we're doing our best diligent effort to work with Representative Morris to see if we can't get something done to facilitate this and help this situation out. Is that correct? That's correct, sir. Okay. Just keep us apprised and keep me apprised of what is going on. Mr. Washington, if you'll do the same, if you've got a problem, give me a holler and just keep me periodically, let me know how everything's going. Hopefully we can keep this ball moving for you, okay? Thank you, Jimmy, because I think the main thing we were waiting on were these cost figures, and now they're in.
Yeah, Mr. Dominic, if I could just comment on that, if you would. We did meet with Mr. Hagan day before yesterday to look at the entire northern part of the parish, and he's going to give us a cost estimate on what it would take to do a plan for that area. And once we get that, we'll know, that would include Mr. Washington's concerns as well. And we'll know what the big picture needs to look like going forward for our water program for the entire parish. But we're going to do the northern part first and then the southern part of the parish.
Those cost estimates, Jimmy, were they from Blanchard or from Oil City, or who are you talking about running the water from?
The cost estimates that we prepared are assuming they're running from the Delta water system.
Okay.
It was geographically the closest. Coming from other directions, it would be a little bit more to get a line to go out there.
Does Delta have the ability to supply that water to that?
Currently, I don't think they do, but I think they can do something about that.
Okay.
And include it in the cost of serving those people.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. You know, here's the every day we're seeing things that's manifesting the importance of clean, quality drinking water. I have no more cards. Anything else, Mr. Clerk? That's it?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Okay. Next item.
We have no special resolutions. Next, we have communiques and committee reports.
Okay. In the community, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. President Jefferson, we got a call today from General Motors to inform us that there is a part shortage coming out of Japan to support the production here in Shreveport. And today, the production is going to be ended for about a week or so until they can get some more parts in from another supplier. So they want us to be aware of that.
Okay. Well, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Bowman, Mr. Pearson, and then Mr. Dominique.
Mr. President, this morning I did represent the commission at the National Constable Conference that they're having downtown Shreveport. They had their opening ceremony this morning, so I've represented the commission on that.
Were they pleased with, it's the same one that we helped them out on the deal that went south, go down to Lafayette a while back?
No, I think this is the national one. Next year they'll be in Mississippi, but this year they're sharing their conference with us in Shreveport.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Bowman?
Yes, just wanted to make note of the underage alcohol sales meeting that will be held Monday at 2 o'clock. And I just want the committee members to be aware of it. Hopefully this will be our final one and we can get everything straightened out.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Mr. Pearson?
Yes, thank you. The Intergovernmental Professional Organization Committee met, talked a lot about the master plan, a lot about the person that it's been suggested to be a part of that master plan, whether that person is shared or whether that person works for MPC or just what. But we got a lot of helpful information in regards to that, and we're going to meet again. We had some volunteers to come in and help us out, and so we're going to convene another committee meeting on the next work session if it doesn't conflict with anything, so that we can continue our work and decide at what point are we going to be ready to adopt that plan. Thank you.
Very good meeting, I might add also. Mr. Dominique?
Just a couple things. Railroad Festival is this weekend, so if anybody wants to come up to Gideon, please do. Carnival starting tonight, parade Saturday. The Industrial Development Committee, we are planning on meeting next Thursday at 4 o'clock to discuss the issues relative to the coal company that was here and also some considerations concerning Ward 2. So that will be next Thursday, March 24th at 4 o'clock.
Where would that be? Here.
The committee meeting, yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay.
And then you're supposed to email me or something on something you want, so let me know and I'll put that on there.
Okay. Did I see you, Ms. Lynch, and you went off, or what?
I think I'm going to tell Mr. Commissioner Johnson what I'm thinking about him representing us before all those men off the record.
All right. That's it, Mr. Dominique?
That's it.
Mr. Cox?
What time's that start up there?
Do what?
What time's the deal start this weekend?
The Red Book Festival? Well, it's kind of already started. I mean, the carnival's tonight, but the Red Book, I think it starts at 1 o'clock. You want to come to it?
Well, I heard you was gonna be in the Duncan booth, so.
No, they couldn't find one quite big enough.
I got one. I got one.
Oh, you have one big enough for you, so I could fit in that one. I probably could if that's the case, okay?
No, my wife and I will be up there, spend the day up there.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's a very big festival for our area, for a small town. If you like small town festival booths and parades, outstanding. I'll throw you a popsicle if you're out there.
Melt it by the time you throw it to me.
Okay, thank you. That's it? Okay. Any more communiques, reports?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes, sir, we have an announcement on the parking situation, so I'd like Mr. Randy Lucky to come forward and give an update on the roof repair.
Okay.
How it's going to affect them.
Okay, we're talking about the west side parking lot here, okay? The one that belongs to the commission now, west side parking lot over here, thank you.
The other west.
The other west, hey, thank you, Brother Ken. Anyway, we have worked out a deal with Mr. Steve Ramsey across the street, the parking lot across the street from us. And what we're going to do is our 4 meeting days in the month of April, the 4th, the 7th, and the something, that Monday, and then that next Thursday, there's 4 meeting days for work session, regular meeting, work session, regular meeting. What we're going to do is, we're going to have y'all spots, enough for everybody, reserved over here in the lot across the street, and Mr. Ramsey he'll have them coned. Keith, you're going to have somebody over there from facilities manning it to make sure nobody slides in on one of them before, you know. But for those 4 days, y'all will have places to park. The crane is going to be in y'all's parking lot for the entire month. So the deal that I'm cutting with Mr. Ramsey is, I told him that I was going to need 4, 5, or 6 spots. I mean, I don't know, for the whole month. Because sometimes our commissioners come up here for, you know, you need to visit with Woody or somebody else. And so, since that crane will be over there staging things to the roof, we'll have them coned over in Mr. Ramsey's lot. So you know, it's gonna be 4, 5, or 6 spots. I think that's about all I'll need, unless y'all wanna do something any more than that or any less than that, you can chime in. It's open-ended right now, but he's allowing us to at least cut that deal with him. He also told me, he said, man, this is really gonna put me in a bind, because he said, I've got every one of these spots over here that are leased. And so, after a lot of, cajoling, we have come to an agreement. He's gonna work with us to get that deal done. So that's what the deal is gonna be, unless anybody's got some kind of other recommendations of how you wanna do it.
Thank you very much, Randy.
Mr.
Does that
Lynn?
work?
Oh, no, something after that.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Did you get your name and address for the record? Okay, thank you.
Yes, my name is Lucky, and I'm the happiest guy in the world because I'm still a new grandpa.
All right.
Congratulations.
Okay, Mr. Lynn.
I wanted to ask Mr. Wilson or anybody that, or Robert Glass that might know this, it's my understanding that they're drilling for, is it the Bossier Shale or the Magnolia Shale that's underneath the Haynesville Shale that has oil in it, and they're drilling through the current natural, and I'm asking if this is true or not, they're drilling through the current wells that are in place that they did fracking, so they don't have to re-frack them. They're going through the same hole and tapping into another shell underneath, and they're pulling oil out. Is that true?
Bossier Shale, in various, it's not thick enough in Caddo, but in DeSoto and northern Sabine, the Bossier Shale lays on top of the Haynesville Shale.
Okay, what shell's underneath it?
I'm not aware that they've drilled anything underneath the Haynesville.
Okay.
But the Bossier Shale but they've already held the wells by the Haynesville, so they can go in and drill the Bossier at any time, but it's also a gas shale. It's not an oil shale to my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, I had been told from several different people that there was another shell underneath the Haynesville, and I guess it'd be the Magnolia then.
I think they do have
that
some
oil.
lower than that, but it's not economical to go after it yet. I mean, it'd be very expensive to drill.
All right, well, if I have any direct proof, I'll give it to you. Thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it on the, that's it, Mr. Williams? Okay. I went to the launch of the e-library the other day, and it's really amazing. You'll be able to check out books and movies and everything that you could physically almost do at the library on your iPhone or your iPad now. Sunday they're going to do a demonstration at the Broadmoor branch from 1 to 5, and Mr. Thibodeau will be able to kick that off and represent us. So I would urge you, if you would, to go over and check this out. It's amazing. That's all I have, Ms. Clerk.
So next we need to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting held on March the 3rd.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Lynch, seconded by Ms. Bowman. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote, please. Okay, that passes. Next order, please.
Next we have public hearing on the ordinances. Ordinance number 5073 of 2011, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Juvenile Justice Fund for a juvenile court program titled Facts of Life in the amount of $35,400 for the year 2011. Ordinance number 5074 of 2011. Let's go ahead and move to the hearing, I'm sorry.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance number 5073 of 2011? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you may proceed.
Good afternoon. Kashonda Doty, C-O-N-S-H-O-N-D-A, Doty, D-O-T-I-E. My address is 6525 Diana Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. I am Director of Youth Programs for Volunteers for Youth Justice. Facts of Life program is a program that Volunteers for Youth Justice oversees for the juvenile court. I would just urge commissioners to support the program. We started a year ago. The program has been doing great wonders. We have testimonials that show that the program is working. My Executive Director, Joe Duke, has already been here and provided information to the commission on the success of the program. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Don't see any requests. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition to ordinance number 5073 of 2011? Next order, please.
Next, we have ordinance number 5074, 2011, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorizing the parish administrator designate to sell the parish of Caddo's tax interests.
Anyone here to speak in favor of ordinance number 5074 of 2011? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Okay.
Next, we have ordinance for final passage. Ordinance number 5073 of 2011, amending the budget of estimate revenues and expenditures for the Juvenile Justice Fund for Juvenile Court, program titled Facts of Life.
Move to adopt.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Lynn, and who is the seconder? Mr. Commissioner Johnson, second. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote, please. That passes.
Ordinance number 5074, 2011, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorizing the parish administrator to sell.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. Okay, that passes.
Next, we have ordinances for introduction by title. Ordinance number 5075 of 2011, amending and reenacting Chapter 26, Section 26-168E of the Parish Code of Ordinances regarding the appeal process of the authority of Caddo Parish and the regulation of motor vehicle and traffic for the year 2011. Number 5076 of 2011, authorizing the Shreve Memorial Library to negotiate the acquisition of a parcel of property on behalf of the Parish of Caddo to serve as a site for administrative, technical services, and bookmobile center. Ordinance number 5077 of 2011, to revoke the dedication of unnamed road in the Parish of Caddo for the year 2011. Ordinance number 5078 of 2011, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and authorizing the parish administrator or designee to sell tax interest. That's all the ordinances for introduction.
All right, do we have work session minutes?
We have work session minutes for ratification at this time.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bowman. Work session minutes of March 14, 2011. Let's vote, please. Okay, that passes.
Next, we have our resolutions. Resolution number 6 of 2011 stating Caddo Parish Commission's endorsement of Blue Street Services LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Quality Jobs Program.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion? Vote, please. That passes.
Resolution number 9 of 2011 stating the Caddo Parish Commission's endorsement of HCC High Capacity Coal LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Quality Jobs Program.
So moved. Second. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Dominique. Any discussion? Vote, please. That passes.
Resolution number 10 of 2011, supporting Dr. Mark Chimino in the effort to secure relief from his 2008 property assessment and the reduction of his property taxes from 2008 through the current tax year.
So moved. Moved by Commissioner Thibodeau, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? Vote, please. That passes.
Resolution number 11, 2011, to authorize the parish administrator to disperse the first payment of four $50,000 payments to the Shreveport Regional Sports Authority.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson, seconded by Commissioner Thibodeau. Any discussion? Mr. Escudé.
I just, before we vote on this, think that I need to provide a little information. Most of you have it, some of you don't. And just, let's think for a moment about what we're fixing to do. I've got a copy here if anyone wants to see it, but it was an email sent out the 23rd by Dale Sibley on behalf of both cities and both parishes to the Sports Authority, requesting information as far as the events that they had contractually obligated for and encumbered or the services or facilities of any of the parishes or the cities involved, and requesting these contracts, or copies of them, at least proof verified of what they had going on, so that we would know what they had contracted for, so that we could, as the four governing bodies, support them in completing those contractual obligations, and then moving forward with the new entity that the four governing bodies has created, so we could focus on a regional effort. That's been a month ago. None of that information is provided. The only thing was this report, I don't know if any of you read, that was brought to us a couple of weeks ago from a representative of the Sports Authority. This has not been furnished to the city or the other two cities of the parishes. They just came here to us. So we still haven't seen the contracts. They say we contracted to do this, we're contracted to do this event, that event, whatever it is. So I'm sorry, those are words until you see signatures on the dotted line. So we really don't know what is what. So basically, we don't know where there's a stopping point. The second thing that I want to point out is if anybody read the report that they brought, which I did, and it was supposed to let us know about what they were doing and all. There's a couple of things that really kind of stand out in here. And one of them is they're talking about the established purpose, their purpose, what they see their purpose is, and that is to promote the city of Shreveport in Northwest Louisiana as a tourist destination, enhance quality of life, and assist the city of Shreveport in negotiating existing and future professional events, as well as assisting Caddo and Bossier Parish. Well, okay, based on the new entity that was formed, it doesn't look like anybody's asking for their assistance. But that is in their defined purpose. We're the only ones currently even considering funding them. Another thing that I thought was pretty neat is in describing a summary of their events. If you read it, the wording in here is just it's kind of strange to me. It says the withdrawal of support by the city of Shreveport and the collusion of the local governing entities is against the standards of sports-related visitor industry established practices. Collusion and withdrawal. Okay, so we're accused of colluding and withdrawing. And I also thought there's another thing in here too, when they talk about objectives, is they would continue attempts to coordinate and partner with the Shreveport Convention and Tourist Bureau. Those are hostile kind of words as far as I'm concerned. Secondly and lastly, I emailed you, I don't know if you were at home today, a copy of an article in the Baton Rouge Advocate that was forwarded to me March 17th, dated March 17th, that we're having down there the Louisiana High School Athletic Association's annual meeting, talking about how to play the umpires and all. And what was funny, there's several areas, I won't read it all to you, but it said the committee discussed and is set to stick with the embattled Shreveport Regional Sports Authority for its 2012 bid for wrestling. Embattled. I thought that was kind of an interesting choice of words there. It also says that they had a record attendance, so they're going to come back here. He said Mr. Henderson gave a committee report on his meeting with Shreveport Regional Sports Authority Director Mary Ann Tice last weekend. Henderson said Tice told him that the Shreveport Regional Sports Authority has no plans to shut down and will seek alternative funding sources now that governmental groups in the Shreveport area have formed another sports marketing group. I think the hope is in a couple of years the groups up there will be back to the Sports Authority, and in the meantime, they're just trying to find other sources of funding. It seems to me that what we're going to do today is appropriate funding to an entity that is in direct competition and seems to have no willingness to want to work with a new entity that the four governmental bodies, in their foresight and a collaborative effort,
created to take it above and beyond what it has been in the past, and also give some more governmental oversight, since many of these events are subsidized with taxpayers' dollars, and they will continue to need to be. I don't care which entity and by what name you call it that has the Bassmaster Classic for next year. We're all going to have to pony up. Now, do we want to pony up to an entity that has disassociated itself from the city and from the rest of government, or with the new entity that we've created? This just kind of disturbs me. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like if you have a cafe and one side of the street and Pettick's got one on the other side, and you send him half your customers. Well, I mean, I don't know why you would want to do that. You're subsidizing his business. But anyway, I don't know why we haven't gotten a response as far as copies of the contracts that are in place, so that we know exactly what our obligations are and how we can help them. I don't know why we haven't gotten that. I have been told and heard and several arguments that that's not a matter of public record. They have received public dollars last year from this body and other governmental bodies, and as long as they're doing that, that is a matter of public record. I don't care whether they change their charter in midstream or not. What I don't understand is why there seems to be a determined effort by an individual to go ahead and once again undermine a collective effort by the four governing entities who duly represent the people of this parish, be us right or wrong, and who knows the question of that, why they want to take us on and compete with us, at the same time then expect us to prop them up. My whole intent and purposes in supporting the allocation of money to them this year was so they could fulfill their current contractual obligations at the time, and then shut down in a nice, timely manner, so that our participation would be no longer needed. Doesn't seem like it's going that way, so kind of, once again, in summary, asking, what are we doing? We've got a new organization formed. It is a self-funding organization that we're not having to prop up, and now we're going to allow something that could not only compete, but distract, disrupt the negotiations, not benefit this community as a whole, send a bad message. That's what we're going to do here today by appropriating these funds. I'm not hostile about it. It's just, these are just my observations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ms. Bowman? Oh, you off? Okay. Ms. Lynch?
I don't disagree with anything that John said, but I'm not sure if we were in the same meeting last year when we agreed to appropriate. What I recall is that we said we were going to appropriate the $50,000 for the first quarter, definitely, and we knew that we were moving toward with establishing the this new entity, sports entity with Bossier and with the Convention and Tourist Bureau. But that we were going to give this money, appropriate this first $50,000. And I guess what my question is, the way this motion is worded, where it says the first payment of $4, does that obligate, is that somehow going to obligate us to 3 more? Because my understanding was that we would vote every quarter for an additional $50,000, because we didn't know if it was going to take 3 months to get the new entity up to speed, or 6 months, but we just didn't want things to nothing to be happening in the way of commitments that had already been made. Mm-hmm. So does this wording here commit us beyond the first $50,000?
No, ma'am. It was done that way to show that the entire appropriation that you all did vote on was the $200,000, but that is
But that was with stipulations.
With stipulations that that there is to be a review and a vote by the commission quarterly, and that's written into the cooperative endeavor agreement.
Okay. I just believe we ought to keep our word. We put the commitment out there. It was publicized that was our commitment, and I think we just need to stick to it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I don't know of a new entity that has been formed. I mean, you know, there were several meetings, perhaps there's been some meetings since that time that I'm not privileged to, but I don't know of a new entity that has been formed. I know that there has been a support for the formation of a new entity, but I don't know of a new entity that has been formed. And second of all, I mean, we've already obligated ourselves, and the first allotment was supposed to be due in January. And there was an event already held, and an event to be held on Sunday. That's a part of those promises that we have made to the Shreveport Regional Sports Authority. Then the second allotment is due in April 1st for the second quarter. The second quarter starts April 1st, doesn't it?
It does. The way that it's set up, I think you should be able to vote at any meeting during the quarter once they've made a report.
Sure.
So if they have a report ready to go, then it can be placed on the agenda for the next meeting.
Right. So, I mean, that's what we promised. If we hadn't promised to do that, to support them that way, even if we had to vote on it quarterly, then all of those commitments that they made and contracts that were signed with NC2A and the ones that were signed with LHSAA for the wrestling tournament that's already been held would have somehow been canceled, so that they would not have bills to pay in regards to those. I just think this is not a good time, and it doesn't look good for us to back up on our commitment. For some reason, I mean, there's still, maybe our legal group can talk with the Sports Authority's legal representation and talk about why they don't feel like it's necessary, it should look at the contract themselves. I think there's some opinion that the contracts are between one entity and another entity. I know the Bassmasters certainly didn't want anybody to look at that contract. That contract was between them and the Shreveport Regional Sports Authority, not between them and the city. Now, that's the way they feel about it, and I'm certainly, you know, I mean, I understand that there are different views on that in terms of public funding and all, but perhaps we need to talk to their legal representatives to find out just what it is. But I just don't think it's a good time to start, you know, talking about backing up on a decision that we've already made. And, you know, it's just a matter of going, you know, there are bills to be paid and obligations to be taken care of that we've already said that we would do. You know, and so, thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Ms. Bowman?
Yes, sir, Mr. President, thank you. I will be voting no, mainly because, number one, I wasn't here to even make that commitment. I have not seen anything in writing what the 50,000 would even cover, what it's basically for, what projects, what events. I'm not, that hasn't been presented to me. And of course, it was also stated that, you know, the contracts were basically between the Sports Authority and Bassmasters. Maybe so. However, the city of Shreveport contributed quite a bit of money. The state of Louisiana contributed quite a bit of money to Bassmasters. This wasn't a one-man show. And by no means would I like for the citizens to be under that impression, because there's also another problem. There's a situation with this same entity as it relates to the attorneys. It would be a good thing if the attorneys with the parish can have that type of relationship with them, because the city attorneys were not able, all communication was shut completely down. We're not receiving any type of correspondence, yet you were receiving city funding. I thought it was wrong then, and I refuse to give them one dime. But that's my vote. Thank you very much.
Mr. Lynn?
If we have two members on the executive committee, are those members allowed to get the documents as far as contracts for future? To give to us?
They're allowed to see those contracts, yes.
Where, do we have representation from them today? Is Andre here?
They have not met.
So Andre hasn't attended a meeting? They haven't met since our committee members have sat on, have been appointed?
I don't think so, I'm not sure.
That's all, Mr. President.
Mr. Cox?
We need to look at this as a commitment that we made, and I'm going to vote for the first quarter to be paid and ask that a representative from the Sports Authority come in with an outline of events that they either have under contract, which I'm sure she has a list of what she's got on the event list for the year. And that's very easy to be done, and that way she can get the second installment. And believe me, I've had quite a few discussions with other commissioners about this, and, you know, if she's already got something on the drawing board and it's coming up or it's already passed, and we made the commitment, we should stand by that commitment simply because she's basically proven herself in more ways than one, in my opinion. The other regional sports authority is being formed. We understand that. I understand that. There's going to have to be a coming of the committees together to get this thing settled, because Shreveport, Bossier, and Northwest Louisiana is going to lose in the long run if we can't get this thing straight. We are an entertainment industry, but we're not. We're an entertainment industry in a form of the casinos, the outdoor events, the festivals that are coming up, but we have not yet touched the peak of what this area can do. The first Bassmasters Classic that was here was by far one of their best ones they ever had. And like Ms. Bowman said, it wasn't a one-man show. It was the state, the city, the parish, and everybody was involved. But there was also some people that were actually up front doing a lot of work. So I say we voted on this a while back to fund them for the year. Let's go ahead and give them the first installment before the next installment comes in. They bring in and show us what they've got. So if there's anything on the books that is scheduled, we are obligated, in my opinion, to go ahead and do that while the other regional sports authority is being put in place. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Mr. President, I kind of have a question and a statement to follow up on that. Have they met the stipulations of the agreement that was put in place?
Mr. Frazier,
Have they met the stipulations that were put in place to receive the allotment of money?
Well, yes, the allotment was stipulated on your approval, so this is one of the stipulations, whether you all vote to approve this today. And they provided their year-end report, I believe, in a timely manner, and they have the 2 board members that were appointed.
Right.
Okay, so all the stipulations have been met for
Yes,
this allocation?
yes.
That's it? Okay. Let's see, Mr. Pearson, this will be your second go-around. We go to Mr. Dominique.
I think Commissioner Cox and I are on the same wavelength. I believe that, we've made this commitment, and we need to go ahead and make this payment. Hopefully in the future, she can give some more documentation to show us what future commitments they have, so we can look at the other disbursements as they come up each quarter. But it's my understanding we had voted on this, and it's passed by the budget. And according to our attorney, they have met their commitments. I understand Commissioner Escudé is concerned about not actually looking at the contract, but we do have two appointed members of the board that hopefully can let us know a little bit more. I will vote in favor to allow this to continue.
That's it, Mr. Dominique?
That's it, Mr. President.
That's it, Mr. Escudé. You've spoken. It'll be a second go-around. Mr. Thibodeau?
I think that the quarter's almost up. There's been at least 2 events. There's been the wrestling event, and there's the NC2A coming up this weekend.
and they've met all the requirements. I hope that we will give them that first quarter allotment. And just as an opinion, I hope that the new organization, should it ever get on its feet, I hope it is as successful as the Shreveport Regional Sports Authority has been. And we were talking a minute ago about Bassmasters and how so many people were involved, so many agencies were involved, and that's true, which means that somebody had to orchestrate all that, because to orchestrate the city, the parish, the state, and all the other entities that were involved in giving money, time, or whatever they gave, or in-kind donations, is a massive job within itself. So I hope we will vote to give them this first quarter, and then we'll decide upcoming quarters when it's time to, based on its merits. Thank you.
Let me inject a point of information. This is minutes of the meeting of the Caddo Parish Commission Economic Development NGO Committee, meeting held on the 18th of November 2010. It was moved by Mr. Pearson, seconded by Mr. Escudé, to appropriate $200,000, which is a $175,000 increase to the Shreveport Sports Authority in the Economic Development Fund budget. Mr. Pearson pointed out there were events on the books in 2011 that need to be taken care of, and we need to make sure commitments are handled in 2011 for the good of the whole community. It was moved by Mr. Escudé and seconded by Ms. Lynch to amend the Shreveport Sports Authority in the amount of $200,000 and to pay out quarterly increments of $50,000 upon review and approval by the commission, and require that 2 board members for Caddo Parish be seated on the executive board. Motion carries. The ayes unanimous. Okay, and this came back to the full body, so maybe that'll help us base a decision. Okay, on second go round, we have Mr. Pearson, Mr. Escudé, and Mr. Lynn.
I just wanted to say that the year-end report was given, and I think Ms. Frazier just said that all the activities for the year have been presented to us, been provided for us. So we already have that. Thank you.
Mr. Escudé?
Yeah, this is the year-end report. They brought it a couple of weeks ago. The information has been given. I am wanting to support this. You know, everybody's worried about, us fulfilling our obligations, and that's fine. And our intentions were good. In the interim, since the first of the year, the city has, both cities, both parishes requested that we see copies of the existing contracts. Not that we were given the original, but we're allowed to see it. That's a simple request. And we've been denied that. What's going to happen next quarter? I don't think that's too much to ask. This is public funds. We, as far as Caddo are concerned, are responsible for those funds. I just want to do my due diligence before I vote. I don't think it's an unreasonable request. The question begs, why can we not see those contracts? And this, as if somebody mentioned, it's a privacy issue that Bassmaster doesn't want their contract for review. I certainly understand that, and that's fine. I'm sure they don't want it out there in the public. But we see information or privy to information that is confidential that we have to keep quiet all the time. And as the guardian of public funds, I just don't believe that everything, just because it's printed, is fact. So I would really like to see what they've got going on, and I can assure you, it's not a matter of obligation. I want to fulfill that obligation. Come next quarter, we don't have those, we can't see those contracts and review them, and I don't want our appointees to, because our appointees are not the ones responsible for the taxpayers' money, and they're not the ones who will vote on appropriating the spending of the taxpayers' money. But I want to see them, because I continue to vote no. It's simple. Produce the contracts, let us review them. I just want to know that everything's fine. I'll be happy. I'll vote every time to release the money just as we've committed. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think that's unreasonable. But just clearly, I just want to state again, I very much want to see them get their money. We have made a commitment, and I think we've made a fair request. I don't understand
what the problem is, what all the secrecy is. And you leave it basically up to one person to account for this money. And there was no real strings attached to this money. We didn't attach this money for a specific event or anything. It was to aid the Sports Authority in its 2011 efforts. Is that not correct? And I'm fine with that. I just want to know what they're contractually obligated for, and it's not provided. I don't understand why. That's why I'm having a hard time with this. Thank you.
Lynn? This is for anybody that can answer it. How often does the Sports Authority Executive Board meet, and how come our representatives have not attended the first meeting?
I don't think the first meeting has been, since their appointment has been held. I think they meet quarterly.
And the first appointment was in January? February? February. And then I know Andre was just appointed last month.
Yeah, I don't know when they meet, but I can find out.
Is there any sort of bring you up to speed kind of thing? Has that happened?
If I can. There is an orientation where they bring them up to speed, but one-person operation as it is now, with wrestling just ended, and on the heels after that of the NC2A tournament, she says, and then some personal issues as well, just hadn't had time to meet with them individually to do the orientation, but she has expressed to me that she needs to get them both in.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Cox. I'm sorry, Mr. Cox, you've spoken, so, and Mr. Johnson has spoken. Mr. Smith has not spoken. Mr. Smith.
I think I'm like where all of us should get together. We want to honor what we said we would do, but at the same time, why can't we see what we're asking for? I wouldn't invest my money without seeing the contracts, would you? So until I see that, I'm not going to vote for this. To fund the money, I can't. Thank you, sir.
All right. Mr. Cox.
I'll just go back, and I agree with Mr. Escudate to a point. I agree with Mr. Smith to a point. We're all in business. We do represent the citizens of Caddo Parish. We do take their tax money, and we appropriate it to entities such as this to bring money into the parish. This has been a sticky situation for the last 6 months, whether it be on the city council side or our side. So just to make it easy on everybody, we know through what we just read that we appropriated the money. It's not a hard request to say one of their representatives from the Sports Authority to come to our next meeting with a list or a lineup of the upcoming events in 2011 after what they've already done. That's not hard. I do promotions. I understand what's going on to a point, but people need to understand that we're giving out money. I am going to vote to give this money for the first quarter and the second quarter when she comes up or a representative comes up and shows us that lineup. And after that, go to the third quarter. But if she cannot do that, then we do have a problem. So, but I will be voting to give them this quarter and possibly the second if she comes up with that lineup. Thank you.
A point of information, please. The lineup we have, Mr. Hopkins has a copy, and he's made me a copy. We've had it since they came here. It's the contracts that we want to see. You've got the lineup, it's right here. Welcome to borrow a copy of it.
Point of information, when I say lineup, I do mean contracts in it.
Okay.
Whenever you do a promotion, there's a rider or a contract between the entity that's coming in and the entity that's basically going to perform or oversee. That's basically with a lineup, they can say attach copy A, B, C, or D goes with this event. I'm not saying I want to read it. I just want to make sure that it is already done.
Okay. Mr. Johnson.
Call a question.
Call for the question?
Yeah.
Okay, the question's been called for. by Mr. Johnson, seconded by Ms. Lynch, is non-debatable, it must pass by a 2/3 vote. Question's been called for. All in favor of resolution number 11 of 2011, vote yes. All opposed, nay. No. That's 6 and 6. 6 and 5? 6 and 5. 6 and 5, it passes. Okay. Old business, Mr. Clerk.
No old business on the agenda, sir, and no new business on the agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, I had a
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you say that this had to pass by what, 2/3?
No, the call for the question.
Oh, okay.
It's a resolution too, it just takes a majority.
Okay, okay.
Second majority. We didn't vote on calling for the question. Right, we have to vote on calling for the question.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Then vote on that. We did vote on it. It is.
Like,
I don't have one again. All right. Okay, no business.
Yeah, 'cause I thought I was gonna get-